Question number 4. This question is about the nervous system. The figure number 3 is shown, which is related to reflex arc. We can see the stimulus is given here, and the information is carried from the stimulus through the neuron and it enters into the spinal cord. And this is a model or structure of the spinal cord. Here is a muscle, the information is coming from the spinal cord. If you look here, the transmission of the message is given from here, and I drew the arrows so that we can easily find the answer of the question. 4.1 is an year 1 question. Name part P and Q shown on the figure number 3. This question is from the human nervous system. If you look here, the P is a gap and Q is indicating a neuron here. The gap present between the neurons is called synapse. So this gap P is called synapse. The student also need to give the answer for Q. Q is a neuron which is present in the spinal cord. There are three kinds of neurons: sensory neuron, relay neuron, and the motor neuron. The sensory neuron takes the message from the stimulus to the nervous system. The relay neuron is present inside the spinal cord, and the motor neuron is a neuron which takes the message to the muscles or the effectors to take the action. But if we look into our model in figure number 3, the neuron present within the spinal cord, which is a Q neuron, and the name of that neuron is relay neuron. Four point two is an AO1 question. Compare how information is transferred along a neuron with how information is transferred across the gap P. We want to get the information how the information is traveled along the neuron and how it can jumps across the gap P. The information is traveled through the sensory neuron or along the sensory neuron in the form of electric impulses. When the information is reaching at the end of the neuron secretes the chemicals and the chemicals travels through the gap and reach the relay neuron. Let's see the model answer. The information is transferred along the sensory neuron as electric impulse across the synapse P by diffusion of the chemical. The information when it comes here, the neuron release the chemicals. The chemicals start diffusing through the gap into the relay neuron. 4.3 is an AO3 question. It is an application based question. Why does a conscious action takes longer than a reflex action? This question is from the human nervous system. The reflex action is taken place with the help of the spinal cord, whereas the conscious actions are taken place with the help of the brain, in which the brain has to process the information before taking any action. Whereas in the reflex action, the action is done by the spinal cord without giving the information to the brain. Therefore, the reflex action is quicker as compared to the conscious actions taken by the brain. Let's see the model answer. Conscious actions require the processing the information in the brain, whereas the reflex action involves spinal cord and it takes short to process the information. 4.4 is an AO2 question. It is an application based question. Information travels at 120 meters per second in neurons. Calculate the time it would take for the information to travel 1.6 meter along a neuron. The distance is given, the speed is given. The student need to find the time. So the speed is 120 meter per second. The distance which is given in the question is 1.6 meters. We need to find the time. And the demand of the question is we need to give the answer in milliseconds. So 1 second is equal to 1000 milliseconds. Students need to use the formula of the speed. The speed is distance over time, and they need to substitute the values. Let's see the model answer. We know that speed is equal to distance divided by time. We know that time is equal to distance over velocity or distance over speed. Distance is already given here, that is 1.6 meter. And the speed is also given, that is 120 meter per second. So we are going to use 120 meter per second here. We use a calculator, our answer is that is 0.0133 second. But the demand of the question is in milliseconds. Therefore, we need to multiply our value by 1000 and the answer is 13.3 millisecond. 4.5 is an AO2 question. Doctors tested people of different ages to time how long it took between attaching a sharp pain and the arm muscles contraction. Table number 3 shows the results, and this question is again from the human nervous system. If you look here, the age of the people is given here in this column, whereas the time taken to contract the muscles is given in this column. If you look here, as the age is increasing, the time of contraction is also increasing. The question is, describe the relation between age in years and the time for the muscles to contract. The student can write the answer, as the age is increasing, the time for the muscles to contract is also increasing. The student will get 1 mark for writing this thing. They need to add one more point, that how the rate of contraction is going on. If you look here, if the age is increasing, the time of the contraction also increasing at an increasing rate. It shows that the relation between the age and the time of contraction is not a straight line. We can see from the graph, which can help us, the increasing rate mean that it is becoming like exponential way, that it is keep increasing more and more with the age. Let's see the model answer. As the age is increasing, the time of the muscles to contract it also increases. We can see that the time of contraction is increasing in milliseconds. At an increasing rate means as the age is increasing, we can see the graph, it is not a straight line, but it is a curved line.